I am so excited to be back with new content. Thank you all for hanging in there with me and waiting for me to come back. I truly appreciate it. If you are new to my channel, hello, my name is Sammy. This is Unicorn Dust Designs, and today I'm super excited to bring you some romantic, shabby, chic DIY inspiration. Let's go ahead and get started. We are going to start this first DIY off with the Romantic Blocks decoupage paper. If you remember, I used this one on that like elaborate pumpkin I made during fall. We're going to use two sections out of this. We are going to use this, it almost looks like a stamped letter, and then we're going to use the birds as well. I'm going to take two books, and for our first one, the cover and the back of it's white, but I needed to cover up the spine of the book so that pink lettering wouldn't show through my decoupage paper. So I put a couple coats of white swan on there. For our second book, I'm gonna rip off this like glossy front and back page of it. And then I'm going to grab crinoline and we are going to paint over the first page. If this book had been a book that went with our vibe, I wouldn't have covered up the lettering, but it was about back pain and yoga. So we're going to cover that up with crinoline. And once that is dried, I'm going to take my black ink and the kindest regard stamps. I have all of these products, y'all, on my website, unicorndustdesigns.com, and it's linked in my description box. Now I'm going to take liquid patina. I laid my decoupage paper over my book, and I'm going to go in small sections. So I applied that liquid patina directly to the book. Whatever I have left on my brush, I use that to smooth the top of my decoupage paper down. For whatever reason, this book cover was sucking up that liquid patina, so I had to put some healthy coats on there. I'm going to do the same step all the way over. Once you get to that spine, make sure you push your decoupage paper down into the spine so that it sits nicely in there and doesn't pop up on you. I am going to set that one aside and let it dry. Then we're going to take this beautiful, look at how beautiful this image is. And I am going to just rub it on the sides of the book so that I get an imprint of where I need to take off the excess of the paper. I chose to use a paintbrush and water because I did not want very straight lines on this. This kind of gives it a worn look without looking like rustic, if that, you guys pick up what I'm putting down when I say that? All right, so I take the excess off and we're gonna grab our book. And if you're like, Sammy, why did you stamp that book if you're just gonna cover it up? And I did that because you'll see in the reveal that kindest regard stamp is going to show through that decoupage paper and just give it more detail. So I wrap both of them around the spine. I sand the excess of the paper off of my hardback book. And then I'm going to take that liquid patina once again and I'm going to seal over both books. Make sure that decoupage paper doesn't go anywhere. Now I'm going to take the catalog paper. I have all of my papers in stock right now, y'all. And I'm going to take this image. She is so beautiful. Now I'm going to take a little frame and I am going to push my nail into the frame and get a guideline, again, like we did with the book, on where to take off that excess paper. I'm going to use, once again, the water and paintbrush. And at first I thought I was going to use this frame more as like a charm. So I got the remainder of the paper that I took off and used it to decoupage the back. The resin pieces have really slick backs and paint does not like to adhere to them. So I thought this was a good way of covering it up, but you guys don't even see it because I end up gluing the frame to the book. I'm going to take weathered wood. This is a beautiful, it's like brown, but has like a charcoal in it. It dries down beautifully. I'm going to paint the frame, the outside of the frame in that color, leaving the inside white. And then again, taking our liquid patina, I'm going to adhere that to the middle of our frame. Once that is dried, I take my gold gilding wax and I am going to put a heavy coat around the outside of the frame. And then I will take my finger once again and we are going to coat the top of the frame to make sure that all of those details really pop out at you. And I really loved this color combo. I'm going to take both of the books. Now, I stacked the top book over to the left side because I wanted to cover that like red wax image. It just did not go with my vibe. And now I'm going to take some tulle. I'm going to take about 3 sections or like 3 pieces. And I'm going to tie this around, making sure not to cover up that beautiful bird image. I'm just going to tie this one in a knot. It wasn't long enough to put a bow on it, but that's okay because I end up fixing that problem. So I tie it in a knot, then I get this pink lace and go through, and this is where I'm going to create a bow. And I cut off the excess, and that turned out so good. So like I said, I thought I was going to use the frame as like almost like a charm hanging down the book, but that just didn't work. So I hot glued it right under the bow, and it still looks like it's almost like a charm that's like connected to the piece. And I absolutely love how romantic this turned out. This can transition so easily into spring. And I love that we were able to take just one decoupage sheet of paper and totally reinvent these Dollar Tree books. It's gorgeous. So usually I spray any glass that I'm going to paint with Clear Matte by Rust-Oleum. The DIY clay-based paint will stick to any surface. I just like the added security of having something for the paint to like cling onto that isn't a slick surface. So I accidentally sprayed this with gloss. So yeah, it's basically the same thing as painting the glass, but we'll see how it does because I wasn't about to go outside and do it again because you guys, it's 24 degrees. All right, let's get painting. I'm going to be taking a good old chippy brush and petticoat pink. Petticoat pink is such a soft, beautiful pink. It's like not kiddie-ish pink. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit more mature. And I do have all of my paints fully stocked, y'all. So make sure to visit the website. I'm going to do 2 coats of this paint all around this mason jar. I'm also going to do it on the lid. Would this even be considered the lid because it doesn't have like the top piece in it? I don't know. But we're going to do 2 coats of the petticoat pink on this as well. And then I'm going to clear the entire mason jar with our water-based Big Top. This is an alternative for clear wax or whatever else you want to use. But I am going to make sure that we seal the paint. Now, we are going to grab some doilies, you guys. So this was a beautiful doily. You have to make sure that it is thin. If it is not a thin doily, then your lid will not go on top and screw down. So the doily that you see on the top left, I wanted to use that one, but it was too thick and the top would not go over and screw shut. So I found this one, which worked out because there's a flower right there. So stunning. And I screwed that on. I'm going to take some more of that tulle that you saw in the first DIY. I thought it just needed a little something, but I didn't want to take away from the doily. So I thought this fabric was light enough to add that extra detail without going over the top with it. So after I'm done doing that, you guys, I'm taking these vintage flowers that I took off of old thrift finds, and we are going to put this in our doily. So you guys, it's essentially like making a flower frog with a doily, which I think is so cool. Now, I wanted to use that other doily that I showed you earlier because it had so many little holes in it. I thought it was going to hold the flowers together better. This one worked, and you could actually put more flowers in it because of that. But I just thought this was such a creative way of kind of taking a flower frog and reinventing it. And it's a great way of putting use to those doilies that you may not use anymore, or maybe that were passed down to you. And imagine this as well with just the clear ball jars. Add a little bit of water to the bottom, your faux flowers, and these would really make different parts of your home pop. Tell me what you think about these DIYs. This one made me really excited. Hey, my friends, just checking in on you. How are you feeling about this video? Are you getting inspired? Is it getting your brain working on what you can do, what you can pull, what you can thrift? I hope you guys are having fun. These are some of my favorite DIYs to craft, or I should say kind of like season to craft. No, it's not a season. You guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Anyways, y'all know the drill. If you're digging me, if you're digging the DIYs, if you are digging this video, then make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. All right, you guys, let's get back into this. This beauty was sitting on the glass counter at Salvation Army, 50% off, waiting for me to grab it. And I fell in love with it. And y'all are probably thinking, Sammy, you need a new style because that thing is ugly. But I knew what I could make it. So I am going to take the JRV Cottage color in Gray Skies. These have a built-in top coat. So that's why I wanted to use these today. And I'm also going to grab some salt wash for this video. I haven't used salt wash in a while. And we are going to take the Gray Skies. I'm going to mix my salt wash with my Gray Skies. And I want this to be very thick in texture. I was very inspired by this picture that I found on Pinterest. And if you guys do have a Pinterest, go follow me because I have tons of inspiration on my page, and the link is in the description box. So once I get the texture that I want, and you guys, when I say it's thick, it is thick with two C's, okay? And I am going to now take they're not really cherubs. They don't have wings. I don't know what they are. But I'm going to cover the entire, I'm going to say it's a planter because there was fake florals in the top of it when I got it. And I am going to cover the entire thing. Now, salt wash is a paint additive. It is going to add as much texture as you want to give your surface. So for me, I want this to look like concrete, stone. So I am stippling on the salt wash. I want to create these peaks and ridges. And you guys, when I say you could add as much texture as you want to create the finish you want, possibilities are endless because this salt wash dries down to be rock solid. So I had a bunch of the salt wash left over, and this corbel wasn't really in the plan, but I wasn't about to waste my salt wash and paint. So I saw this sitting on the windowsill, and I was like, I'm going to do this one, but I'm going to do it a little differently. Instead of covering the entire corbel, I decided to kind of do a patchier paint job on it. So I'm still stippling it on, but I wanted those yellow parts to peek through. That way we're going to create more layering with it, more chippiness. All right. Now, I've tried this before. I'm taking my Crackle Medium from Folk Art, and I am putting a heavy coat on it. I have tried this in previous DIYs, putting my Crackle Medium over salt wash, and I never get the crackle I'm looking for. And I learned you just need to put a heavier coat. So as I'm applying this, I am putting like enough where it is almost to the point of dripping off of my project. That's how much it needed. And then I do the same thing with the corbel, but for the corbel, I am focusing more on the yellow that is showing through. That way, that color is what kind of shows through our white paint, which we will put on after all of this dries. And remember, the more heat you apply to your crackle medium, the more crackle finish you're going to get. So with JRV Cottage Colors, my friends, since it has a built-in top coat, make sure that you shake it and you stir it very well, because that top coat will settle down to the bottom. So once I'm done mixing with the planter, I ended up getting white linen and I covered the entire piece. Just like I did with the salt wash mixture, there's a little bit of the gray kind of popping through the white, but for the most part, I covered the entire piece. And the corbel, I'm going to do it a little differently, and you can kind of see the difference of using like your final coat, I guess you can say. So with the corbel, we are going to paint the back. I didn't want to salt wash the back. I thought that would kind of be silly. So I do put 3 coats on the back to ensure that we have cleared and it doesn't look like a streaky mess here. Now with our corbel, the difference that I did was I took the white linen and I got majority of the spots that were yellow. So remember, that's where we put our crackle medium. I didn't cover all the yellow, and I didn't leave all of the gray exposed. I really did a patchy job, just like I did with the salt wash. I go over the gray just a little bit, and then for the most part, I cover up the yellow that is showing through. So you'll see right here, like I'm dabbing majority of it, trying to cover the yellow spots. And then I just travel all the way down with that. And these, you guys, are by far my 2 favorite salt wash projects I've done. I think I finally got the hang of it. And you will see right here with the planter how the crackle finally shows through. You see all of the crackle, and this, both of them, I wanted them to look like concrete stone that's been sitting outside for all this time and the paint's just withering away. And here is our corbel, and this one turned out so pretty. All of these items are going to be available on my website for purchase. And remember, all of the products that you see in today's video are also on my website too. Look at how you can see like the yellow through the crackle. You can see that gray peeking through. And this one is looking like more layers, that there was more paint once upon a time. And that's exactly what I was going for. You guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you tons of inspiration. If you have not checked out my organization craft room video, I'll leave that linked in the description box for you. It's hot. My friends, look, it's before. This would technically be my 5th pregnancy, so I look huge. That last video that came out, the Valentine's Day one, there's the clip where I'm showing you guys my belly and I say that I'm 19 weeks pregnant. I am going to be 12 weeks this week, so 13 weeks next week when you see this video. And I literally look, sorry, hold on, how I did at 19 weeks when I was pregnant with Montgomery. This would technically be my 5th. So I know you like get bigger with each, or like you pop out sooner, but you guys, this is only 12, 13 weeks, okay? Mama is big. Let me know if you think it's gonna be a boy or a girl. What do you think? And see my shirt, I'm so crafty, I make people. It's a true story, y'all. It's a true story. Okay, let's get back into this. whole new, like, basically head of hair back here that's grown since I've been. You guys, I wanted to say thank you so much for those of you who have been watching my content. I know I kind of disappeared. This pregnancy has been really hard sickness wise, and it has left me feeling super unmotivated. Like, there's nothing that has inspired me until recently. I love crafting for like Valentine's Day / spring. I love dabbling with like the soft colors. And so that kind of like sparked some motivation in me again. And I am starting to feel better. So I'm hoping to return to Tuesdays and Saturdays. So just keep an eye out for me. I know a lot of people aren't getting notifications, so keep your eye out. I'm definitely listening to my body, and if I'm feeling tired, I'm not pushing myself. I am not trying to do extra right now. So I appreciate y'all, your guys' support. It's been amazing. So many emails and messages. So I just appreciate you all so much. And I'm so glad to be here giving you new content. I hope you have a good week. Bye.